Okay, be careful when you're taking off strings, especially steel strings, which do exert, they pull more pounds than gut or imitation gut strings. So remove them slowly in hopes that your sound post does not fall out of place, which is just a pain to put back into place. And anybody who's played violin or fiddle knows that costs a bit of money to have done. So let's start by loosening our pegs. You hear all that creaking? That creaking is a sign of a badly fitting peg. Okay, this A string is giving us a little bit of trouble. There we go. Now let's get the D off. And we're done. We've already removed the bridge. Okay, let's take a look at these pegs. Okay, there's your E string peg. Not even close to being round. Don't even know how that worked, but apparently there was enough friction for it to work. Okay, here's part of a Juzek peg. There actually is another part that came with these pegs, a little screw that went in there that's not present. Okay, this pretty nasty looking peg, as is this one, and we can tell by all of the residue that peg drops have been used a lot on these pegs. Now we're going to look at the sound, the peg box holes, but before doing that I'm going to take off the tail piece so that it doesn't flop around with its fine tuners putting dings in the top of this very nice violin, except for the peg box. Okay, nothing really horrible looking about those peg holes, except they obviously have been worn and are larger than they were when the violin was new. Now the other side tells a different story, and this will be hard to see, but we'll try anyway. The G string, it's not even a round hole we're looking at. It is a hexagonal shape. That hexagonal shape is telltale of attempting to use a high-speed drill to enlarge a hole. Do not ever use a high-speed drill bit on a violin peg box under any circumstances. There's another type of drill bit that is used for that, and that's not part of this lesson, but I'll get into that in a future lesson. So, fitting new pegs. You just buy a set and you stick them in, right? Wrong. Pegs come in sets. They're not matched sets by any means, from any experience I've ever had. And new pegs are cut roughly to the correct taper, but they actually vary in diameter by a millimeter or more, and they're not even always straight. These are they're really called, they're peg blanks, And that's the way you're going to get a new tuning peg for a violin. So you need special tools, especially when doing a repair like this. On a new violin, it's a little bit more straightforward because you can cut all the pegs the same size, ream all the holes the same size. Well, we have holes of all different sizes, and we have to kind of work with that. But you're going to need the following tools. Okay, the first thing, you're going to need one peg hole reamer. You will need one peg shaper, which I like to call a $100 pencil sharpener. It's essentially a pencil sharpener that is adjustable, but it comes set from the factory, perfectly set to match the peg hole reamer. Don't ever stick your peg hole reamer in the peg hole shaper unless you want to ruin the reamer. So, we're going to start by fixing the problematic holes, which means enlarging them until they are perfectly round at both the entry point and the exit point. So with great patience, ream that hole. Turn around so you can see a little bit better. It's very hard getting a hole that has become hexagonal to being round again. But we want to take off as little wood as possible. I don't know if you can see it, but the reamer is actually jumping as it hits the corners of the hexagonal shape.